Hi everybody, welcome back to THE Student Webinars. Today we are joined by Tom Quant, who is from the University of Southampton, and they are one of the founding members of the Russell Group, who will be here to discuss all things Southampton and why you should study with the UK, quite a top UK university. So any questions that you have, please feel free to pop them into us. We have a chat box at the bottom of your page there and a Q&A, which we'll be heading over to answer at the very end of this webinar. And, if you have any other questions, please do pop them in. So I'm going to hand you over to Tom Quant.
Thank you very much. Hello. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this session on the University of Southampton. My name is Tom, and I'm the Regional Head of International Recruitment and Partnerships, representing the Americas. So I'm there to guide you through your application process, answer any questions that you've got about studying in the UK, and really help you along that journey. So hopefully you'll find this session really interesting and informative. And again, if you've got any questions, please let us know in the chat box. So here's what we're going to cover. We're going to do a brief introduction to the university and the City of Southampton, the opportunities and support. That includes obviously the entry requirements for Brazil and what Brazilian students get out of their time at Southampton, and life in Southampton in general. What about the city? What can you do? And then I'll really open it to you if you've got any questions. You're also welcome to book a one-to-one with me on Microsoft Teams or Zoom. I'd be more than happy to talk to you, meet you, and answer any questions that you might have on a one-to-one basis as well. So a bit of an introduction to us. We are the University of Southampton. We are a founding Russell Group university, and we are based a little bit more than an hour away from London. So you can see us there on the south of England, right by the Isle of Wight. We are in really well located. We get some of the best weather in the UK. You can get to London very easily, and students often go up to London for weekends or for an evening. And we're also really well connected throughout the rest of the UK with Southampton Airport, that does also fly to European destinations too. So at the bottom of the UK, and what we call the Southeast. So what about our reputation? Well, we've already explained something about where we are and our history as a Russell Group founder, but we have 160 years of history. Founded as the Hartley Institute many, many years ago, we've just grown and developed into the main university in the City of Southampton and one of the main universities in the south of England. We're top 20. We've got a top 20 stat as of 2024. We're one of the best universities in the UK for degree courses and also career expectations following your graduation. We're also ranked 78th worldwide. So we have a strong reputation across the globe. So studying at Southampton not only means you'll be in one of the best positions in the UK, but also globally. We've got a wide international student population. So students from over 130 different countries, over 10,000 in total, and over 42% of our student body comes from across the world. So as well as Brazilians and Latin Americans, we've got students from the USA, from China, from India, from Europe, to be part of a real global community. As I've mentioned, we're a Russell Group university, so we're research intensive, and 92% of our research is world leading or internationally excellent. So they're the professors that are going to be studying with you, teaching you, and passing that knowledge on to you. The World Universities Network is a collegiate partnership between universities across the world, and the Russell Group, which we've already mentioned a few times, is a group of research-intensive key universities in the UK with a strong reputation. We're a founding member and a proud member of the Russell Group since its emergence. So where will you be studying? Well, Highfield campus is our home. It's the heart of the university, and it's where the majority of students call home and will study. Away from that, we've also got specialist facilities. We've got the Innovation Campus at Boldrewood. This is home to engineering in terms of the practical facilities, the towing tank, the wind tunnels. It's really a state-of-the-art, brand new building, custom made for our STEM and engineering students. Our medical students will study at the University Hospital. Avenue Campus is a beautiful Victorian building. It's home to our humanities, so the likes of history, music, those kind of students, philosophy, will study down at our Avenue campus, which is a short 15-minute walk from Highfield. We've got our home of our School of Art is in Winchester. Winchester, a former capital of the UK, is one of the most picturesque and beautiful cities in the country. It's about 20 minutes by Southampton by car, and the School of Art means that you'll study in a dedicated art school, a dedicated art space with gallery facilities as part of a wider university too. We also share the waterfront campus with the UK's National Oceanography Centre, or NOCS, which means that you will be studying at the nationwide, nationally recognised Centre for Oceanography. This is particularly of reference to those students that want to study marine biology or our earth sciences and oceanography subjects. So here's our home. This is Southampton. It's a port city, a waterfront city at the bottom of the UK. And here you can see how our campuses are across the city. So I mentioned Highfield campus in green. That is the heart and home of the university. Avenue and Boldrewood very close by. Winchester just across down the road in the back there, and the hospital and the NOCS, now National Oceanography Centre, at the forefront. The university is divided into 5 faculties. This is because we have specialist areas that teach across 300 undergraduates and 200 plus postgraduate courses across 65 subject areas. So the faculties are split up as so, and again, each have their own specialist areas. I've mentioned arts and humanities. They predominantly teach, and you will study in either, if you're a humanities student, the Avenue campus, or an arts student at Winchester School of Art. Engineering and physical sciences, again, the STEM-based subjects, the computer science-based subjects as well. The Faculty of Environmental and Life Sciences encompass oceanography, marine biology, biology and some of the other science-based subjects. The Faculty of Medicine and the Faculty of Social Sciences. And here you can see how they're divided. So whichever course you're interested in falls into one of our faculties, and you can really get a feel for some of the courses that we offer. I should mention at this time that this is a list of our course areas. The actual courses is much more intensive. If you go on our website, www.southampton.ac.uk, you'll be able to look at the postgraduate and indeed undergraduate courses available to you. Here's our basic entry requirements from students joining us from Brazil. Predominantly, our students are postgraduate students. So the titular de mestre, sorry if I said that wrong, or the titular de bacharel, or other subjects such as the titular de licenciado, we look for relativity. So if those postgraduate courses that require a first degree, we look for an 8.5 out of 10 or an A in your titular. Those that require a 2-1 require 7.5, a 10B or a B. And those that require a 2-2 require a 6.5, a 10 or a C. So yeah, so in terms of grading out of 10, we are looking at 8.5, 7.5 or 6.5. Most postgraduate courses will require a 2-1 or above. So you are looking at 7.5 upwards or a B grade upwards for those. For undergraduate courses, we look at the International Baccalaureate Diploma in terms of direct entry. Otherwise, we do require entry onto our foundation course, which is provided in the heart of Southampton through our foundation provider on campus, and you can access their information online as well. But when looking at courses online, please pay attention to the entry requirements for UK students, and this is how it will correlate to those on the IBDP programme. If you do have any further questions on entry requirements, please drop me a note or contact me via email. I'll be happy to speak to you. In addition to that, we also have IELTS requirements for English. So those that are entering on foundation courses require IELTS at a minimum of 5.0, and English is incorporated as part of that foundation programme. Those studying postgraduate courses, English and language requirements do differ by course. We typically look for around 6.5 IELTS overall, with no lower than 6.0 in each component. However, courses differ, so do look at the relevant course pages. Opportunities and support. As well as the course and as well as studying at a Russell Group University, we want to offer our students the very best in support whilst they're here and afford them the best opportunities. We want you to progress onto meaningful graduate careers. So we got a good reputation for this. We're in the top 125 of the world's best institutions for employability, based by the QS graduate rankings. We're in the top 15, the UK's best institutions for employability, meaning that our students go on to study meaningful subjects and get good jobs and good careers after they leave us. And we are in the top 10 UK universities for by largest number of employers. And what that means is that employers actually seek out our students, come to campus and engage with our students because they want to give them jobs after they leave Southampton. There is the option for Brazilian students to stay in the UK with employment after they graduate. They have the graduate route visa, 2 years after the bachelor's or master's degree. And if you do study, it's PhD, it's for 3 years, and that gives you 2 years of access to the UK. 95% of our students are in employment within 15 months of graduating, and 87% of those within undergraduate studies specifically are in a highly skilled job. That number is much higher. It's more like 95 to 96% for those leaving us with a postgraduate degree. So your degree gets you somewhere and will get you opportunities for work in the UK and beyond. Throughout your time at the University of Southampton and beyond, we support you, and we do offer constant sessions throughout the year on developing you not only academically, but from an emphasis on employability. So we've got information and advice and guidance sessions, work experience programs, fairs and events throughout the year that you can access, and we regularly post job vacancies. We're there to support you and ensure that you get employed once you leave us, but also that you have access to all the information as much as possible before you join us, and also after you graduate from us as well. So the support doesn't stop once you graduate. You can still tap in and access this support as well. For many students, particularly at undergraduate level, if you are interested in that, there is the option for a year in employment. Again, this puts you on a placement, and it's a chance for you to work for a year in one of our businesses. As I said, employers actively seek out University of Southampton students and graduates, so it's a really good opportunity to gain some study or some work experience time at a UK employer. You are paid during this as well. For postgraduate students, we do offer placement, so an opportunity throughout your year of study or 2 years of study, dependent on your course, to develop your skills within industry. There's also the option for study abroad, both postgraduate and undergraduate. So there's lots of different study abroad options, whether you do a semester or particularly if you're doing a 3-year degree, doing a longer time than that. And we have an extensive list of partners across the globe. So it might be that you want to return to South America and do some things more closer to home in, say, Mexico. You might want to go across to Australia or New Zealand. You might want to go to Asia, or you might want to engage in the US. We've got opportunities, as I said, networked with some top high profile universities across the globe. How do we support our students? I think, and my one bit of advice that I would give you is that when you're looking at studying in the UK and in general, you need to bear in mind what I call the 3 C's, okay? And the first one is the course. What do you want to study? And that can be anything. You might want to study biomedical engineering, but each university will be differently ranked for biomedical engineering. But also each university will teach that course in a different way, which is why attending open days or virtual open days and visiting the website and looking at the information on the website is an absolute essential, because the modules will vary different. The second C is campus culture. It's 2 C's, but it is in terms of what goes on in the campus, what's the ethos about, what's the heart, and where are you going to be studying? What support does the university offer? And this is what I'm going to come to. I'm going to come to the culture in just a bit. And the third is the city, which I'll touch on in just a bit. So if you can get those 3 C's right, and I'll talk a bit about them at the end, you're onto a successful time in the UK. But in terms of the way we support our students, we have 24/7 help via the Student Hub. It's open 365 days a year, including Christmas Day, and you can contact them via telephone, and they've got a live chat. And some of the support that they offer, the extensive support on student disability and through inclusion. You can book one-on-one sessions, you can adjust things by your own needs, and you can get your own pastoral tutor. We also offer 24/7 wellbeing support, including one-to-one chats, group chats, workshops, but also the university counselling service. So rest assured that when you arrive, you enrol and you become part of our community, you will get the support that you need, if you need, during your time here at Southampton. We've also got multiple student residences that cater for lots of different needs for different students. So we've got residences that are on campus, we've got residences that are near the centre of town, ones specifically for postgraduate students, and we've got a range of single dorms, self-catered, part-catered, en-suite, shared bathrooms. So really, by looking at our accommodation website, you will find something that fits you. For undergraduate students, this is the most popular choice for your first year. For postgraduate students, you can see the top right is City Gateway, which is our dedicated hall for postgraduate students, and again is an often popular choice for students arriving for postgraduate studies. It takes and alleviates the issue or worry about having to find somewhere to live. They also come with unlimited travel bus pass, so you can use that to travel around the city, not just the university, around the city and its neighbouring cities. We've also got 24-hour security in all of our residencies as well. Here's a look at some of our halls and what we're offering. Erasmus Park is in Winchester, so it's our sole university residence in Winchester. Glen Eyre, you can see Chamberlain and Chancellors there are based on campus. Archers Road is nearer the city centre, as is Mayflower, and Montefiore, Wessex Lane is also on campus. So there's a real range. Our seventh hall is, of course, City Gateway, which is our postgraduate specific hall. What I will say is halls of residences in any UK city, but also in Southampton, are in high demand. So when you apply, do be sure to get on your application and start applying for your halls of residence as soon as possible, because it will work on a first come, first serve, and I don't want you guys to miss out on your preferred hall. In addition to halls of residences and our own halls, there are other accommodation options available, and our dedicated accommodation team will be around to help you and assist you in finding accommodation around the city of Southampton, particularly as well if you're travelling with family or dependents and you want to live in a house or shared accommodation. We do offer airport meet and greet. This is something we're rolling out this year as well, and it's something that we will continue into 2024 and beyond. So it is occurring now throughout late September, and it's an opportunity for students to meet us at the airport and get a bus down to Southampton. Now, the London airports of Heathrow and Gatwick are your best choice when arriving to Southampton. There is a direct train. Trains in the UK are very good, and there is a direct train from Gatwick straight to Southampton Central, which can take you to the university. Heathrow, there are National Express buses or other public buses available, but there's also the opportunity to get picked up by us, me and some of our staff at the airport itself. So when you are coming to choose your course and you're coming to choose your accommodation, in about when you are looking at arriving in the UK, do inquire and ask us about our airport pickup meet and greet service, because it does again take some of the stress and anxiety off of arriving in the UK. You're greeted, you're looked after, and you're taken straight to your bed, which is always a nice thing to do. Life in Southampton. Remember the 3 C's I referred to? This is the city. This is the last C. So as well as studying a degree and as well as being based at a university where you're going to get prospects and you're going to develop your career ambitions, we also want you to be happy. You're going to be spending, a minimum year in the city of Southampton. So I want to tell you all about it. I've touched on where we're based in the UK. This is Highfield. This is our main campus, again, the heart campus of the university. That building there you can see is the Hartley Library, our first ever building, which opened as the Hartley Institute 160 years ago. You can probably tell from the pictures of Highfield, at least from this one, that it's incredibly green. We've got loads of green space across our campus. We've got the brilliant Valley Gardens, which I often go down for a lunch break in the sun. It's a beautiful botanical garden. We've got many, many fields and lots of lovely green space on campus and down the road at Southampton Common. So you have loads of nature around campus as well. We've also got, in addition to the Hartley Library and the green space, some real state-of-the-art modern buildings at Highfield as well. There is the opportunity on our YouTube channel to take a tour at any of our campuses. I really suggest you have a look at the Highfield one as well, just to get a feel for what life is like on our campus. Sports facilities. We like our students to have, to be active physically as well as mentally. And we do have state-of-the-art sports facilities at Highfield. So our Jubilee Sports Centre currently has a 25-metre swimming pool, over 20 grass and synthetic pitches. It is an £8.5 million sports complex and has lots of fitness stations. If you're into water sports, we have our own water sports centre being on the waterfront, and we are currently extending the Jubilee Sports Centre even more. So June 2024, by the time you study, the Jubilee Sports Centre will be even further developed, and you'll have more to access if you're into your sport. As well as that, there's also clubs and societies, and here you can see societies gradually grow. The list of clubs and societies that you can be involved in whilst in Southampton is huge. There's one for everyone. There is anything from dance, from Quidditch, if you're into Harry Potter, to circus, to the Medsoc, chess club, jazz, the Feminist Society, first aid, piano. There's absolutely something for everyone. So I would strongly suggest that when you arrive, do go along to the welcome events and the freshers fairs and really get stuck in with what's available outside of the study. There's awesome opportunities to meet other students and other friends that have like-minded interests, and a chance to do stuff outside of your degree study. Here's two I've specifically singled out, three I've significantly singled out, is SLAPS, which is our Spanish, Latin American and Portuguese Society. It was set up by students from Spain, Portugal, and then encompass students from across Latin America, including Brazil. And they arrange all sorts of activities. It's one of the largest societies in the university, and arranges all sorts of activities throughout the year. So you can really stay in touch with other students from your home country, get involved in socials, attend the annual trip, which can be anywhere across the UK, take part in fiestas, language cafes, and do some fundraising. It's great fun. They do some amazing food. So do bring your culinary and cooking skills with you. But again, there's loads of great things involved with SLAPS. But we've also got some various other societies as well. The Afro-Brazilian Arts Societies, and again, the Salsa Society, which started a few years ago. So lots of ways to remain rooted to your home of Latin America and Brazil, but also meet students as well. If that's what you like to do. Some students like to completely separate themselves and engage culturally elsewhere. But again, it's always nice that those opportunities are available and that you can get involved with as a student. If you are interested in SLAPS, there is a QR code you can select. They also have a WhatsApp and Instagram page. So a bit more about our city. This is Southampton in the winter. Here you can see our state-of-the-art complex that houses a cinema, deluxe cinema, various restaurants, and at Christmas, an ice rink. Southampton, much like the university, is a mixture of medieval and modern. It's medieval because it's got real English heritage. It used to be a walled city, and some of its walls still remain. You can walk along them. But it's also one of the largest port cities in the UK, commercial ports cities in the UK. And what that means, as you probably know from the likes of Sao Paulo and Rio, is it brings in a lot of tourists and a lot of vibrancy, which means that the city's constantly getting funding and constantly developing and modernising as well. So that it maintains that nice rustic feel whilst also having some fantastic facilities to visit. There's loads to do. There's Oxford Street, there's Bedford Place, which is a nice place to grab coffee or somewhere to drink. The theatre complex is brilliant. There's the Mayflower Theatre. There's also other theatres in the cultural complex to visit as well. Mast is another amateur theatric company. There's the football club, previously a Premier League club. Hopefully they'll be back in the Premier League by the time you join us if you're into your football. But we're only 10-minute walk away from the St Mary's Stadium, home to Southampton Football Club. And again, we've got a really, really strong connection with the club as well. So be sure to check out an English Premier League game or a Championship game whilst you're staying here if you're into football. I've mentioned the large spaceship-looking cinema complex. The picture next to that is Southampton Marina, which has brilliant bars, brilliant restaurants, and a lovely place to chill out, particularly in the evening to watch the sunset. And the final picture there is students enjoying a barbecue on the biggest green space in the city, which is Southampton Common, which is opposite Highfield campus. If you're into your water sports, and I imagine some of you guys will be, being based in Brazil, we're on the waterfront. Southampton was home to the London 2012 water sports facilities, but a lot of what was put into the Olympic bid still remains, and there's so many facilities for students involved in water sports to engage in. There's a big water sports society at the university, so you won't be short of finding some sports to engage in. But it's not just about the city of Southampton. There's loads to do around it. So we picked 4 things. We didn't want to pick one being London, because I'm sure you'll visit and I'm sure you've seen many pictures of London. But here are things that are a lot closer to the university. So about 10-minute drive, you're in the top picture there in the left, which is the New Forest, voted recently Europe's best national park. It's sprawling, there's loads to do, lovely hikes, lots of animals, lots of lovely restaurants and British pubs tucked away. It's a must visit. Along there is Bournemouth, which is 7 miles of sandy beach. Bournemouth is the next stop along from the New Forest and is about half an hour from Southampton. I live there, so I'm biased, but it has, fantastic long sandy beaches, places to relax, and has some brilliant nature reserves as well along the seafront. And the bottom 2 pictures, I mentioned Winchester earlier on in the presentation. This is Winchester, and the bottom left, you can see the old clock, and this is the high street that leads up to the end of the city walls there in the background. Home to the Winchester School of Art, but also well worth a visit. It's in the opposite direction to Bournemouth and the New Forest, but again, it's only about 10 minutes on the train, and it's a real old school feel to it. It really does feel like England. I guess it's one of the cities that I would say that's definitely what England feels like. There's loads to do there as well, and well worth a visit. And my last picture there is the Isle of Wight. Again, I gave a shout out to the Isle of Wight at the start of the presentation. You can travel there by ferry, about an hour from Southampton along the Solent. And again, it's got loads to do, lots to visit, and you can take boat trips around the island as well. So there's lots to do in the city and around the city of Southampton whilst you're studying with us. So hopefully that was a whistle-stop tour of us. Remember what I said at the start of the presentation. It's the 3 C's. So look for the course, look for the campus and the culture, and look for the city that's in. We feel strongly about our 3 C's. We feel that we've got the right courses for you. You'll be studying at a university that's got a fantastic culture and a lovely campus, and in a vibrant, modern, medieval British city as well. So if you are interested, please get in touch with us, and we'd love to hear from you. But over to you now. If you've got any questions, please ask.
Great, thanks, Tom. That was a lot of information packed into the last half hour, which is great. So hopefully they will be able to ask some questions, which they have here. I think a few of them you have answered, but I will ask them anyway, just in case some people didn't get the presentation all the way. So the first question, Hanno, are there any specific qualifications we need to study here? Do you offer any English language courses?
Yes, so the qualifications, and the reason I only touched on them briefly is they differ significantly by course. For example, if you want to study a real science-based subject, it might come with some caveats that you need to have studied a science-based subject in your home country. It might not. It really depends on the course. So the best bit of information is if you can visit the course page on the website, have a look at the entry requirements. I briefly touched on how they correlate to Brazilian entry requirements, but in general, for academic entry, we're looking for postgraduate, we're looking between an equivalent first or 2-1. So we're looking at that 8.5 to 7.5 or AB grades in your titular degree. Otherwise, for undergraduate, again, the gradings are there, or you'll have to enter a foundation course, which is a 1-year course prior to undergraduate. In terms of English courses, we do offer pre-sessional English. So if you've met the academic entry requirements, but your English ability is letting you down, then we do offer the chance to top up your English gradient. There's a range of different lengths available. You can find out more on our website about the English entry requirements. They generally tend to be most picked up by postgraduate students, because our undergraduate students often have to do a foundation. We often find that they meet the IELTS of 5.0 to enter that foundation. And then whilst you're doing that foundation, you're developing your English throughout that program to get you ready for year one entry on an undergraduate program.
Right, next question. This is based on accommodation, which I think you briefly touched on. How is the accommodation situation there? Is it easy to find somewhere to live?
It is easy. It's something that I always say to students is don't leave it to the last minute. We've obviously got a range of halls, but we have a lot of students that come through our doors. A lot of students apply and want to stay with us. So it's always best that once you've got your offer, and I purposely didn't touch on the application process, but I'm happy to answer any questions on that when applying to the UK. But once you've got your offer and you've been made an unconditional offer by the university, which means you've met the requirements, you can then start booking your accommodation. And if you're particularly fond of one hall or one residence, I would do that sooner than later. Then you're more likely to get halls. We always say we guarantee students a place with us if you book before the 1st of July. So get everything in and be proactive and you'll be fine. Again, we support students that don't want to live on our campus and want to look elsewhere. So it is relatively simple to move and find accommodation, but it's made harder the later you leave it.
Understood. That's for anywhere really in the UK.
Yeah.
So next question. Are there any help post-studies, help with future careers, for example? I think you touched on that.
Yeah, so our career service extends to graduates. So it's not that you'll finish studying with us and that's it, the support ends. At any time you can come back and engage with our careers service and say, hey, I graduated 6 months ago, a year ago. I'm looking now for a job in the UK. Can you help with it? Once you're part, the main thing is, you belong here. You're part of our family, and we look after you, and we want to make sure that you've got that support. So once you've left us, once you've got your degree, graduated, and either gone back to Brazil or you've stayed in the UK, you're still very much part of our family, and we will look after you if you need help or advice developing your resume or getting help in employment. So that continues.
Amazing. And how about the visas? So obviously visa situations change with country to country. We have a question here asking, will you offer us any help in terms of gaining a visa?
We do. We do run sessions throughout the year that help students with their visa application. Again, it's one of those things, if you're not familiar with getting a student visa to the UK, is you've got to apply for your course first. That's the main thing. And you can do that now. So it's always good to get it in earlier. Once you've applied for your course, then you obviously get the entry requirements you need. If you're still studying, you won't have those yet. So your offer will likely be conditional on you getting those. If you have studied and you've already got them, then you're almost fast tracked to getting an unconditional offer, which means, yeah, welcome. You're ready to start. Once you've got that unconditional offer, then you can apply for your visa. So you have to obtain what's called a CAS. CAS stands for Confirmation for Acceptance to Study. In the UK, it's provided to you by the university. It's essentially a ticket telling the government in the UK, you're studying with us. It's a code. You contact us and our team sorts you out with that. Then we can tell you and signpost you on to get your visa. So you can do a visa as soon as you've got an unconditional offer. And we do help you. We've got a dedicated visas and CAS team that will help you with that once you're all set.
Perfect. And how about studying and working? Can I study and work at the university?
Yeah, so you absolutely can. Your visa limits you to 20 hours during term time per week. So you are restricted by how much you can work whilst you're in the UK, and that's not us. It will be anywhere in the UK. It's the government. So again, during your term time, you can work up to 20 hours. And the reason that is in there is just so that you don't work more than you study. It's to support putting your studies first. Outside of term time, those restrictions are looser, so you can do a little bit more work. And that can be casual bar work or working around the city in retail, or it can be working, doing a more formal career-based employment. So you absolutely can work under terms of the visa, and we do encourage students to work. I mentioned earlier that we post, part of our career service posts job vacancies up, but you are restricted to 20 hours per week during term time.
Perfect. And how about the opportunity to meet potential employers? Will they be able to meet potential employers through the
Absolutely.
university?
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned that we're one of the most sought after. Our students are one of the most sought after groups in the UK for employers. Employers want to work with our students. They engage with our academics. Each faculty in each course hosts their own employer fairs. So what that means is if you're studying engineering, there'll be an engineering employer fair hosted by the faculty. The university as well hosts more widespread careers fairs. And it's a real opportunity for students to walk around with their resume and hand out and start engaging and meeting employers. Southampton's a main employment hub, particularly for the marine industry and the cruise ship industry. So there's lots that go on in Southampton. But we're also well connected to the capital city. So often students come and look for work and look at jobs in London. But as well as graduating from a university that employers want to hire from, you're also going to be studying and graduating from a place that welcomes employers onto campus regularly and opportunities to engage with them whilst you're studying and beyond.
Great. And could you speak more about the foundation programme?
I can. So the foundation programme is hosted at our Sir James Matthews building, which is right in the middle of the city in the cultural quarter. It is a campus that I didn't share because it's actually owned by our colleagues at On Campus. So they have their own website, and what it does is I can put you in touch with Mariana, who is based in Brazil actually, and she can feed into more information about what the on-campus program entails and what the foundation course is. There's foundation courses in lots of different subject areas. So it's likely that if you're interested in STEM, or if you're interested in art and design, or if you're interested in, I don't know, let's pick another one, history, there is a foundation course, not just an overall foundation course, but it's actually associated with that subject. It's got the requirements are that you have to pass your high school diploma and then get an IELTS of 5.0 minimum. If you've achieved that, then you can contact On Campus and get onto that foundation course. They are obviously oversubscribed, so it is about getting in, making those connections first. So you can email me and I can direct you to Mariana, who'll be able to tell you more about that foundation. And then once you graduate that foundation course, or you pass that foundation course, you guarantee progression onto the undergraduate course of your choosing. So it really is adding a year to your studies, but it is an opportunity to get used to studying in the UK, developing those skills, and of course, enhancing your English language, speaking, reading, writing, and listening ability too.
Perfect. And next question. So could you talk about any merit scholarship or need-based funding opportunities for an undergraduate?
I can. The full list of our scholarships is on our website. So you can visit our southampton.ac.uk/scholarships. You can then search by your country. You can look for Brazil and you can look at the funding options available. We have said this year that any students that are getting funding from the government, so for example, the Brazilian government, can still access our own Southampton scholarships. Pardon me. Southampton scholarships differ by course and faculty. So, sorry. So if you are interested, have a look on our course pages.
Okay, I'll let you take a gulp of water now. So, okay, on to the next questions that I can see here. Are there any particular requirements for the study abroad option?
No, study abroad is available to all students, and no requirements at all.
Great. Okay, and the next question here is about expense. So let's talk about cost of living. How expensive is Southampton in terms of the cost of living? How much would a student on average need to survive?
Yeah, so the most expensive place to live in the UK. I'm really sorry, 1 second.
That's okay, no problem. All right, guys, keep these questions coming in. They're really, really good. I can see some more.
Yeah, they're great. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. The most expensive place to live in the UK is London. Southampton is significantly cheaper than London. I always find it difficult to answer questions on the cost of living because it really depends on how spendy you are. If you like to go out to eat a lot, or if you prefer to stay in. But it is an affordable city, and it often gets voted as one of the UK's most affordable cities to live in. So if you are looking around the area, and by that I mean the south of England, which includes London, the cost of accommodation and the cost of living in the capital is drastically more.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, we're down to the last few questions here now, Tom, so hopefully we can stick with you.
Hopefully my voice can survive, yeah.
Hopefully. Okay, next question. We have, do you offer a buddy system to meet with other students? I know you have the airport pickup, but I'm just wondering if there's anything else.
We do, yes. Students can access our buddy service through the Student Hub, and they are given a student that's, if they're undergraduate, a fellow undergraduate student that's been in their second or third year, or postgraduate students, we buddy them up together and to help them integrate. I will also say the Society SLAPS is very good at this. So if you prefer a buddy from your home country or home continent, you can engage with them and they will put you in touch with someone who's been through the same experiences. In addition to that, in terms of online support, we also work with UniBuddy. So on our website, you can visit the UniBuddy subpages, and you can actually live chat with students. You can find them by course or by country and live chat with students that are going through or have gone through what you're hoping to go through as well. So there's lots of opportunity to get additional support with fellow students from Brazil, but also those on your course that you're thinking of studying on.
And that kind of follows on to the next question. How is the social life in Southampton? Are people friendly and approachable?
Yeah, absolutely. The university, the city rather, has a population of around 250,000 people, and about 50,000 of those are university students. So it's a real buzzing student city, real vibrant student city. And the people are really friendly. There's loads of restaurants around the city centre from all different cultures. There's a few really good Brazilian restaurants, although I will let you guys judge if they're any good. But there are lots of, it's a multicultural city. There's loads going on there. It was shortlisted for the UK City of Culture for 2025. And again, being a port city and a waterfront city, and the influx of tourism means that the multiculturalism around the area is great. So we're very friendly, we're very welcoming, and we've got a bit of a reputation as sunny Southampton. So it's got a nice feel to it. And it would be lovely to welcome you, not only to our university, but to the city and show you around as well.
Yeah, I can second that. I don't live too far from Southampton, and it is a beautiful city. Right, okay, next. And the last question here is about applications. So are there any application date deadlines, particularly this side of the year?
Yeah, really good question. So for postgraduate students, yes, postgraduate students, you need to apply as soon as possible. You can apply direct through the website on the course page, and there should be a link to apply and get an application in as soon as possible. They opened or they're opening very, very soon. And once they're live and once we're good to go, I think it was the 14th of September actually, and it's the 21st now. So it's live now. We closed early last year for postgraduate applications. Okay, so please, please, please apply sooner than later. Even if you change your mind on the course or your decision, at least you've got an application in. The worst thing is to make, I had to turn students away last year from Latin America and Brazil that wanted to apply in May, because I think we shut our postgrad courses across the board in April. So absolutely get something in sooner than later. And again, you can apply direct on the website. For undergraduate courses, for those on the programme that allows them to get onto year one, you have to apply through UCAS, which is the University College Admissions Service. Their first deadline is in January. However, I always say try and get something in before Christmas, because over the Christmas break, lots of people apply and it could delay it. If you're applying for foundation, then again, it's the same as postgraduate. Try and get an application in sooner than later. Mariana has been brilliant. Again, she's based in Brazil, so she's on your time zone as well. She's fluent in Portuguese, so you'll be able to have a real good conversation with her about the application. But again, that we're capped, so I wouldn't want you to miss out. So my advice is always sooner rather than later.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you guys so much for your questions. They have been really, really great. I think Tom has struggled a little bit with all the questions and talking today. But that's great. That's really good to hear from you. And like I said, we always love to hear from you. So if you do have questions after the webinar, we do have the contacts to give to Tom, and he'll be reaching out to you very shortly, probably end of this week, early next. So if there are anything that you want to continue talking to with Tom, then don't worry, you will get that opportunity. Tom, any last words for our Brazilian students today?
My only bit of advice, obviously, I passed on the advice of the 3 C's. That's my first bit of advice. My last bit of advice, and apologies for the issue with my voice, had something trapped in my throat or whatever. But my second part of advice is it's obviously it's a really exciting and can be quite an anxious decision to go and study in a new country. And what I can say from firsthand experience is, you know, you do belong with us at Southampton. We've got the support that you need, and we've got everything set up for you. So we're here between now and between when you join and beyond. That if you've got any questions, even if you think that, you know, it might be a silly question, you know, or you wondered if we've already answered it, please don't be afraid to ask. The main thing is that you feel supported through this, and that you've got as much information and access to information as possible. And then when you arrive in September, obviously you'll be moving on to another country, and we do a lot at that first week. We're about to start it this week for our students joining us this year. We do a lot of activity with our international teams to help integrate you into the UK, support you with your move, setting up a bank account, setting up a doctor's, what we call life admin. So don't feel that you just get to the UK and you're on your own. You're not. You're part of the university's family, and it's our job to look after you. So really looking forward to meeting some of you and welcoming you to our home.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for today, Tom. I think it's been really, really informative. And like I said, we will be in touch shortly to all of you who have joined, but also registered online. And those who couldn't make it today, we are going to send you the recording into an email from tomorrow, so you can then also catch up then. All right. Well, we're going to say goodbye now, and hopefully see you in Southampton soon.
Obrigado. Ciao.